Williamson Herald High School football highlights are sponsored by Moody's Tire and Auto Service with 2 locations to serve you in Williamson County. Moody's Tire, doing it right for over 70 years. Find out more at moody'stire.com.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome into this edition of the Williamson Herald High School Sports Extra, brought to you by Moody Tire and Auto Center. The original, right here on Columbia Avenue, is where we are. I'm Joe Williams, the sports editor at the Williamson Herald, and to my right, as always, the sports editor of the Columbia Daily Herald and also the executive editor of MoPattonSports.com, Maurice Patton, the veteran who's been around forever. Mo, here's...
Whoa. You're older than I am.
Your point is?
Okay. All right. Anyway.
We reached one more season where we are down to 2. Unfortunately, well, actually, we're down to 8. That's a whole nother story. But as far as Williamson County is concerned, we're down to 2, and that's the 2 state championship games that Williamson County teams will be a part of this Thursday and Friday night, the Blue Cross Bowl on the campus of Tennessee Tech University up in Cookeville, Tennessee. And Mo, as we get ready to head up to the plateau, let's start on Thursday night with, I think, the game that everybody's been waiting on since the middle of the season. And that game was waited on since this time last year. Brentwood Academy versus NBA. Last year's game was one of those classics, 56-55, double overtime.
If you had actually been there that night, you'd have remembered whether it was double.
It was that cold, yes. I know. You guys were stuck out there. I didn't make it up for that one. I let you guys handle that one. But long story short, here we go again.
Right. Yeah. As you said, Brentwood Academy won it last year, 56-55 in the state finals. NBA won the regular season matchup a few weeks ago, 31-24. And the one number that I just can't get out of my head is 341.
Okay.
That's how many rushing yards Ty Chandler had in that ball game.
Yeah. Recently named Mr. Football in the state of Tennessee in Division II. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I'm sure that number hasn't gotten too far from Cody White and the Brentwood Academy coaching staff either. I talked to him. They had a media gathering Monday morning prior to the Mr. Football awards luncheon and asked him about the game. Right. And he's like, well, hopefully we can tackle Ty Chandler a couple of times. And while he made light of it, obviously getting him stopped is going to be a big key to Brentwood Academy's chances for success this time around in light of how things went when they played during the regular season.
Brentwood Academy, on the other hand, is probably deep in the mind of Coach Marty Uverard of MBA, and that name would be young Mr. Oatsvall, Jeremiah, who was a bit of a gunslinger last year. This kid can make things happen. It's hard to believe he's a senior. I believe committed to Austin Peay. Maybe not the biggest kid on the football field, but very, very capable of hurting you at different times.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've talked for 3 years about J.O., and it's tough if you're his coach, I would think, because as Marty pointed out when I talked to him the other morning, it seems that he's almost at his best when things break down. You know, when you think you've got him defended, that's when he starts freewheeling and backyarding and all.
And he is good at it.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. He really is. I mean, we talked to Cody during his sophomore year, and it's like, no, great play. There's a lot of that on J.O.'s huddle videos and that kind of thing. And we even saw that on the final play of that double overtime game last year, where he got out of the pocket and then made a throw to Cam Johnson for the 2-point conversion to win it. I mean, I don't know, improvising maybe a little bit, but
just being a winner.
Making a play.
Making a play and being a winner.
Yeah. And as a coach, if you're his coach, you kind of have to live with that sometimes. If you're coaching against him, it's awfully tough to defend. So, he's definitely the X factor when Brentwood Academy has the ball.
Thursday night should be another monster game up on the plateau. Now, on Friday night, we go back up to Cookeville. Deja vu all over again. Friday night, 7 o'clock. Independence. They've won their last 29 football games. They go into this as the favorite as they face Knoxville Farragut. One thing about it, this could be one of those gunslinging matches. The quarterback at Farragut, right at 3,000 yards, I should say. They've got a running back over 1,200. and they score points, and when they score points, they score them in bunches. I think I like the term you said you used earlier this afternoon. We were talking about it, and you or Charles said, yeah, they're kind of Independence 2015 all over again.
Yeah, I mean, Independence last year was just kind of bludgeoning folks on the scoreboard with a prolific passing game. This year, obviously, they've done it a little bit differently, but Farragut, on the other hand, if you look at their scores over the course of the season, you see a 71, you see a 69, you see 2 or 3 other 60s. They beat somebody, scored 56 points. I mean, they've scored 623 points in 14 games. So I'll let y'all do the math because I hadn't quite figured it out.
I will come back, though, and say I don't think they face the competition necessarily that an Independence has faced, especially in their last 14 games.
Oh, I don't think there's any question. I mean, I didn't say that they were scoring those against Southeastern Conference opponents,
Well,
but I mean, they're putting those points up. But I don't think they've been challenged to the degree that Independence has over a 14-game schedule. I don't think they've been challenged to the degree that Independence has over their last 2 games.
Oh boy, is that not the truth? Now, the Eagles come in here equally as strong. You got Brandon Hines at the quarterback. You've got T.J. Sheffield, who just committed to the University of Tennessee, out catching passes. You've got some other kids out at the wide receiver. You've got Troy Henderson, who has really helped or made the running game a target and more explosive. Last year, excellent running game, got there when they needed it and pushed across when they needed it. But this year it is explosive, which is something Scott Blade has not had the last couple of years.
Yeah, and I think he kind of likes it. It's kind of like a new toy for him, I think. And you know, the way they move Troy around, and they'll go empty and move him out into the slot. They'll throw T.J. Sheffield back there at running back sometimes. He likes to kind of, you know, find the mismatch. And they've really made their living off of doing that. And sometimes it takes a while to find that mismatch, as in last Friday night when it took them 3 quarters and some change before they finally were able to hit on something and take advantage of some things that Brentwood was doing defensively to pull out that 27-24 victory. But having watched them for the last 2 years, you feel like they're going to find it.
Oh yeah, I think so. Now, on the defensive side of the football, here come the Eagles again. Hunter Dupree, who was last year's defensive MVP of the Blue Cross Bowl. You've got Landon Guidry, who's headed to Mississippi State. You've got Demke up front. You've got some other kids up front in that line. Michael Weathers up front.
An undersized defensive tackle who seems to make a lot of plays.
I was going to say, it doesn't matter. His heart is so big it makes up for maybe what his body doesn't throw out there.
Yeah, they are undersized up front, but when you watch them, it's like those guys make plays. And they get in the backfield, they live in the backfield, and I think they kind of got knocked around a little bit against Brentwood, and you would think with Farragut's 1,200-yard rusher, who also doubles as their top tackler on defense at 6'2", 230, they're going to face a similar recipe to what they faced this past weekend against Brentwood.
I'll bet you there's a little bit of a defensive scheme this week, though, than maybe what they were looking at last week.
Yeah, I think the difference between this past week and this coming week is Brentwood ran the quarterback a lot. Big kid Caden Drive.
Yeah.
This time around, it's a running back that they're going to be seeing. And I think maybe you can scheme a little bit better for that than you can with the running quarterback. But, you know, you just, again, watching this team, watching this program, watching this coaching staff work, you feel like they're going to come up with something.
Looking for 30 straight and a second straight state championship. There aren't a lot of folks across this great state who can say that. By the way, if you are an Independence fan and you're not going to be able to go up Friday night, don't worry. New place up in Cool Springs, Buffalo Wings and Rings, having a watch party Friday night for that big ball game. What makes that special? Why do we mention it? And that's because Buffalo Wings and Rings are donating 15% of the night's proceeds back to the school. That's a big deal.
Yeah, it absolutely is. We got a chance to hang out a little bit with Matt Cross, the proprietor of Buffalo Wings and Rings, and he has really, in a short period of time, shown himself to be a friend of Williamson County athletics. And you know, at the risk of endorsing somebody,
yeah,
I think it'd be worth your while to step in there. And again, as Joe said, if you can't make it up I-40 to Cookville on Friday night, there would be worse places to watch the ball game than BWR.
You can't hurt me with wings. They hurt me with wings. You saw that. Well, we'll just leave that there for right now. So here we go. It's championship week, Blue Cross Bowl in Cookeville. Charles Pulliam will be going up Thursday. He'll be back on Friday. I'm going up Friday. You're going to hang up and down and here and there?
I'll definitely be there Friday. Past that, we'll just see.
We'll see what happens.
Absolutely.
We'll have one more of these high school extras from Moody's Tire and Auto here next week to kind of close out the football season. But as we go this evening, we want to send our thoughts and prayers a little further up I-40 and across the way to our friends in Sevier County, Gatlinburg, Sevierville, Wares Valley, and all up through there who have fought those unbelievable forest fires. If you've lived around here very long at all, you know that set of mountains is kind of a go-to place to get away to, and it's terrible to think about what may have happened. Hopefully, they'll get some rain and that'll get put down. And our thoughts and prayers, as I know they've got a lot of rebuilding to do.
Now, hopefully, those people can get things back to normal as quickly as they can, and just get through this. Obviously, it's a tough time. Fire is, it's a nightmare for anybody, and when you're talking about a place as popular for tourism and that kind of thing as Sevier County, this is a tough lick. Hopefully they'll be able to recover from this in a short period of time and get back to normalcy out there.
And we'll leave it there. We'll tell you thank you for joining us. Hopefully you'll join us next week for our final football edition of the Williamson Herald High School Sports Extra. For Maurice Patton, Charles Pulliam behind the scenes, I'm Joe Williams, straight from Moody's Tire and Auto on Columbia Avenue. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week with the final results.